And he said, well, he was quoted out of context. And I said, will you share with me the letter that you're going to send to the periodical asking for a change? And what's the big fancy word? Not a rebuttal, but it's a word to do with the right. Somebody writes something saying,
or team with or whatever, to do that. And they surely have the expertise because the mandate, the Disabilities Act, that mandate is what they operate under because they provide services for disabilities. That's what PB is.
let me ask you something. When will the process be finished? Let's see, then what we sort of.
As soon as we get it, what I've done is we've been playing phone tag. So today we got it before I leave.
Hi, my name's James Willis, and I'd like to take time to talk to you about the structure in my life and my routines in my life every day. Each morning, I usually wake up in the morning, I fix breakfast for the kids, I get them dressed, and we are off to school. Now, if I cannot do it one day, my fiance does it for me. Okay, she will get the kids dressed, fix breakfast for them. Usually like one day she'll have to work earlier or later, then one day I'll have to work earlier or later. And so we try to give each other, time to take care of the family by doing this. And it helps us better by taking turns with one another to help the kids and get the kids ready. So it gives us a chance to do other things and get on and then do things with our life and to help each me and her. And so then once we have gotten the kids, dressed and we get them on the bus, and one of them goes to a different school. He gets on the school bus, and he can go right outside the door and get on that bus. And then like the school that I'm at right now, we have to bring him here. And so we usually come here and stay a while with the kids and help the kids once we're here. And we do that as a routine, so for some of the parents that can't show up, it just helps the teachers and some of the staff here get along with the kids and try to get better help with them.
How has Head Start helped you?
It has helped me. It makes me think clearly about the future towards our kids and for them to understand life in general. An example is well, the kids aren't in here now, but some of the kids that you talk to, you can kind of tell where their head's at and what they can explain to you about their families and what they like to do and where they're headed in life. But it has helped me. Usually some mornings they'll come in, they have a computer class that they show the parents. They'll get the parents involved in the things here and around. So, and I think it's a pretty good program. As far as it's a great program, as far as where the kids are concerned, parents, and I enjoy coming down here in the mornings. I wish I could stay, all day long with them and help, but unfortunately I can't. I do have things in my life that I have to do too. But I enjoy being with the kids very much.
Thank you, James. That was nice and sweet. Hi, my name's Lanita Duke, and what we're shooting today is episodes of Head Start TV, Routine and Structure. But before we talk more about Head Start TV, I'd like to introduce you to the Black College Committee. Now, this is an organization that turns Portland youth on to black colleges nationwide. Now, I attended the conference, and right now I'd like to pay tribute to one of the founders of the Black College. And after we pay tribute to the founders of the Black College, we're going to show you an explosive, controversial interaction we had with the youth of Portland. Stay tuned. Remember that Black College thing?
Yeah.
I gotta edit that. Now, Elaine, why does Head Start the morning with a circle time?
We start the morning with circle time with Head Start because it's a good way to get all the children together, to come together as a whole group, to sing together, to talk together, to listen to each other, and it builds language, it builds self-concept and self-esteem, and just a positive, warm way to start the day.
How can parents translate what you're doing here in circle time in their homes?
One thing thing they can do is get up in the morning and do some kind of good morning with their child, just saying good morning to them. You know, start the day out positive. Hope you have a good day when they drop their child off. Give their child a hug and greet their teachers, because the kids care a lot about their teachers. And just give them that little warm nurturance before they leave and start their day out positively.
Thank you.
You want us to put some, there's people standing there that could do that. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave my camera shake.
Do they need that whiteboard? Because
Yeah.
that's the calendar.
No, they're going to move it.
Were you rolling? Were you rolling?
Hi, welcome back to Head Start TV. Our topic today is structure and routine. I'm with Lillian. Lillian, what's your official title with Albina Head Start?
I'm the Education Coordinator, Assistant Director.
I just want to say on behalf of Grassroot News, you know, this is our Albina Head Start TV show number 8 and 9, and you've been most helpful in helping us do the shows 1 through 10, all of the shows. And as a producer, it took a lot of work. We had to utilize a lot of structure and routine in what we were doing to pull this off. And this is our topic, structure and routine. Tell us a little bit about your routine.
With Albina Head Start with the children in the classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, our kids come at 7 in the morning and they're greeted with the teacher, good morning, made welcome into the classroom, and they're offered a breakfast, a hot, nutritious breakfast, and there is always activities available for them, table toys or anything from gross motor to special projects. So that's the first thing we do in the mornings when they get there, and then when all the children are there at about 9 o'clock, they start cleaning up for circle time, which is what you see going on now. And then after the circle time, we have large motor time, where on some days the dance teacher would come in and do a special project with the children at least once a week for about 30 minutes. And then they have what you call the small group, where they work on different areas of academic skills. It could be anything from learning their ABCs to writing their names. And that from there we have what you call drop everything and read, which is what the kids refer to as deer time. And then they get ready for lunch, which they have a nutritious lunch and they serve family style. And from that they have a nap, which is not always a good thing for them, but
It's wonderful. They have a 2-hour nap in the afternoon. I'm so envious.
Yes, I would love to have a 2-hour nap in my day. But anyway, after they go down to nap, the teachers are able to plan for their next day's activity. And when they get up, they have a snack and then get back into the routine of doing special projects or going to the different areas and having what they call free play time. And then their parents come and pick them up and they go home, and we'll start all over the next day.
How important do you feel that it is to establish structure and routine in one's life?
I think it's very important. I can base that on me. If I didn't have what I call my day timer to kind of to map out my day, I would be at a loss. And I think the same goes for the children. If they have a structure and a routine, something they know that what's expected every day, they can expect that to happen every day, they're going to get used to it, and they can tell you their schedule. If the teachers say, what's next, they're saying anything from, oh, it's dinner time to lunchtime to nap time. So they know because it's consistent. Every day we have a structure and routine, which is the same, but just different activity, but it's the same every day. It's at the same time, everything is going on all over the city with Albina Head Start.
Hi, we're still at Circle Time with Albina Head Start, with Head Start TV, as we focus on structure and routine. Here in the gymnasium is Mary Karter. Mary Karter is coordinator of the Portland Public Schools Teen Parent Program. And why I invited her, there's so many of our parents who, as teenagers, had children. So she sees the children before they come into Head Start. Mary Karter, thank you so much for coming to Head Start TV.
You're welcome. Enjoy being here.
Tell me, how would a parent, and I'm talking about a teen parent now, their child is 3 and 4 years old, how would they establish structure and routine in their homes, especially if they've never had any?
You want to start from when a child is 3 and 4 years old?
No, let's start when they're babies and how they can do something now to prepare them for when they're 3 and 4 and 5 years old.
Okay, from the time that the baby's born, structure can begin. Examples of this would be when the baby's being held, to rock the baby a certain way, to hold the baby a certain way. Even when the baby is very young, reading to them, like before they go to bed at night, can set a definite routine. This helps provide some predictability for the child, and they do learn that very young, that certain things happen at certain times, whether it's a quiet song being sung to them, a story being read to them, whatever the routine happens to be. And they learn to expect this, and it becomes very comforting and secure for them to have this happen. And an important part of this too is that if someone else is going to be with your child at bedtime, that they know what that routine is. And for our teen parents, we encourage them that they aren't always there with the child, maybe because of school or study time or whatever, but that they need to make sure that the caregiver is providing this structure and continuity for the child, so the child knows what's happening, and it gives them the sense of security.
Now let's move up to a 3 and 5 year old. Let's say that hasn't happened, and we know a lot of young moms, because they never had structure and routine in their lives, they can't provide it for their baby, let alone their preschool. And it's so important. What would you say to a parent on instructing how should that parent establish structure and routine in their homes?
I think it's never too late to start, although it's definitely better if you start from the time that the child is an infant. But getting the child into a routine, they're going to Head Start today. Okay, these are the kind of things that happen before they go to Head Start each day. And you may want to start with 1 or 2 simple little routine things. You may want to even ask the child, what would you like to do each day before you do this? And of course, you have to keep in mind that as the child grows and as the child learns more and different things to do, that you need to keep in mind that they're going to want to change from time to time what their routine is, and that's something that the child and the parent would plan together. And again, this helps with the routine and structure.
Okay, well, Mary, thank you for taking time out of your day. Any additional advice you'd like to give the parents? You've raised your children, and now we have a new group of parents coming up, new group of children. They have an exciting, difficult future ahead of them. Any advice?
Help the children know that you're always there for them. Help them know that even if you're angry at what they do, you still love them, and that what you're doing is not out of anger, it's out of caring for them.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay. Lanita?
Okay, we're back with Head Start TV as we focus on routine and structure. Nia Gray is with me, and she's a former Head Start student. Nia, I know you're 21 now. You remember when you were 3-4 years old at Head Start?
Yes, I do.
What do you remember about your experience?
I remember getting up in the morning and the little, shuttle bus coming to pick me up in the morning to go to Head Start.
In terms of circle time and all the other activities, you were saying how some of this is starting to come back.
Right, like we'd sit down in a circle and talk about the weather, and we'd come in and have breakfast together and snacks, and then we do that creative dance time where we run around and stuff.
Do you think you benefited from Head Start?
Yes, I do. It teaches you, it's almost like can I start all over again?
Take two.
What should I say?
Let's start all over. Hi, welcome back to Head Start TV. We have Nia Gray. Nia Gray is a former Head Start student. She's now 21 years old, and she's going to talk about what she's learned at Head Start in terms of routine instructor, how it helped her acclimate to the school, regular school, learning her ABCs. So Nia, I guess I said it all for you, but tell us, do you remember when you were 3 and 4 years old at Head Start?
Yes, I remember getting up in the morning and waiting for the little shuttle bus to come take us to Head Start. I remember the circle time, learning how to, explain what we feel and show and tell, and playing in the sandbox and telling what the weather was today. A lot of those activities look really especially familiar.
Do you think you benefited from Head Start, or rather, what are some of the things you benefited going to Head Start?
Like you said, it was easier to acclimate into school. I don't remember having a transition problem going from Head Start into pre-kindergarten. Actually, I don't even remember being in pre-kindergarten. I think you go from Head Start to kindergarten. So, you know your ABCs. When you get there, you have an easier time, getting along with the kids. A lot of it's similar, the structure.
People in the federal government want Head Start, or rather want students like you, those who didn't wind up in the criminal justice systems, those who did not become teen moms. And certainly we're not necessarily criticizing those Head Start students who did wind up in the criminal justice system or who ended up as teen moms. But one of the benefits from Head Start is that you're able to get a head start on life. To give you the same opportunities as, let's say, a rich kid living somewhere. Do you feel that it does that?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, like I said, you learn your ABCs. You're so much more ahead in school when you start regular school than children who weren't in it. I mean, you learn how to work. School is not just learning your reading, writing, arithmetic. It's learning how to work together and cooperate, getting along with the kids in your class and your teacher, and being able to take everything you can, out of the assignment or whatever. I think Head Start helps you do that.
Thank you, Nia.
You're welcome.
Hi. I have Eric. Eric is one of the transitional people from Albina Head Start. Eric, what's going on in this group right now?
Right now what they're doing is all the kids are getting a chance to practice some free movement, and what they're learning are large motor skills where they can figure out how their bodies work and actually get a chance with some structure and routine like we're talking about to exercise and to move around and to get a little feel for rhythm and for movement, and just a chance to express themselves in a way where they're not getting in trouble and not acting crazy, but in a set, structured way, get a little bit of movement, a little bit of activity, and just get a chance to move their bodies around and have some fun with what they're doing.
How can a parent translate what they're learning here in Head Start in this large motor skill group to what the children, how they behave at home?
Well, if you can set up some kind of structure or some kind of routine where you can move with your children or talk to them about, even if it's just dancing to music or moving around or stretching or, going, if you're outside, if you're able to be outside and it's not raining too much, doing a little tumbling or doing any kind of activity where they can get their bodies moving and they can learn some coordination. And, at this age, they just have so much energy. We need to set up a way to let them get some of that out where they're not always getting in trouble for what they're doing.
Yeah, I hear a lot of parents tell their child, sit down, be quiet, sit down, be quiet, be still, don't do that, don't do that. I mean, sometimes we forget how it is to be a 3 and 4-year-old.
Yeah, and if you give them a chance in a structured way to get some of that out, then maybe at some of the times where you need for them to be quiet or you need for them to be sitting down, then you can talk to about how if they can handle that for this period of time, that they're going to get a chance to go outside and move, and that they know that you've done that with them before, and that they know that they'll have a chance to do that. So you can have a little bit of what you need when you need them to be quiet and be still, and give them a little of what they need when they need to get out and be moving.
Now, in terms of the structure at Albina Head Start, you employ outside consultants, such as this teacher here. Why do you do that? And again, why is that a part of Albina Head Start?
We're trying to give the kids as diverse experience as possible, to let them try a lot of different things. We have all the reading and all the school activities for them and all the learning activities, and then it's also really important to give them these motor activities and these movement activities, and we bring in some really exciting people from the community who are willing to be part of what we're doing, and every little bit helps, and everyone has their own area of expertise, and this woman's expertise happens to be in movement, and the kids really love her.
It looks like they really love her, but you know, to the naked eye, it looks like they're just having fun, but what are they learning? I mean, are they learning? It seems like, as one of the Head Start people told me, they're learning counting and rhythm and language development. How's that all playing out here?
Well, they learn everything that you're saying, the counting and the rhythm, and actually they learn to follow directions, they learn colors, every kind of activity that goes on in Head Start its intent is to help the children learn a number of different things in a number of different ways. If you remember being in school, it's not always the best way to learn to just sit down and do paperwork or to think about certain things, but to actually get up and experience things and move around, and the kids get asked different questions during these activities about what they're doing, what body parts they have, where's my elbow, where's my knee, that kind of thing, and it just gives them a chance to learn in a different way that's fun for them and that keeps them engaged in what we're trying to do.
Bring it back around. Yeah, okay.
Gloria, tell us, what do you do for Albina Head Start?
I'm a family team specialist.
And what is a family team specialist?
Well, we're a part of a Amani program, and it was a 5-year demonstration program, but now we're written into the whole component of the Head Start program, so we're the newest member, or one of the new members. And what we do is kind of the social service component of it. We care about the child as well as his family and grandmother and uncles and aunties or whoever. And so we're here to work with the families, to support them, to give them resources and support around some things that they might need. To get a child to school every day, we need a home, we need food, we need clothing. And there are some emotional needs. There's a lot of different problems with drugs and alcohol and a myriad of things that make the world go round, but to have the kids there every day is a real support to the family as well as the child, to have the same routine every day, to be able to take naps. And I think it's real special to belong to the Head Start family, because when a child comes to Head Start, we care about the whole family, because we feel that that's what makes the child happy.
Well, let's say you from a family where, traditionally you were not raised with a lot of structure and routine, and you don't see it as being a problem. What are some of the problems? Gloria, let's say I come from a family where traditionally there's been no structure or routine, and I think I'm doing all right. I think I got it going on. How would it display itself that I have no structure or routine? I know what it shows in attendance and enrollment and different things like that, but how does it display itself, and how important do you think it is? And can a person that's never had any structure in their life, never had any positive routine in their life, how can they go about establishing that?
Well, the basic thing that we do, we go into the home or they come into our office and we do a needs assessment. And on this needs assessment is maybe a first thing that never happened to a parent before, and that's setting some goals. And we try to explain what a goal is. And sometimes related to their children, they can understand the goal. As far as I'd like them to know his name, her address, how to count numbers, colors, and so I will give them a couple of little clues on, what a goal might be. I said, because we need to also know what you expect. So that's making them a consumer of our positive Head Start program. And so when I asked them that, what would you like? And they would say, well, yeah, I want him to learn how to count, and I like him to tie his shoes. I mean, and sometimes they're academic things, and sometimes I wish he would take a nap, or if he could play with other kids. He likes to fight, and he's the only kid, and he likes to keep all the toys. And, so I said, if we can write this down now as a goal, we can monitor it as time goes on, and then by the time the year is over, we can see the progress that we made. So it's just a subtle way to get into the structure. And mostly, no matter what family background or where you come from, people always love their children, and they feel that they have this child is the best. And even if they wouldn't have ordinarily wanted to do, get him up in the morning, put his clothes on, they get pride. And so that's what makes my job really easy, because we have their precious one, because their children, or our children, are our future. So when you're interested in them and, trying to help them with their needs, it kind of works in a way that they didn't know before. Because a lot of them sit there and say, after I finish with the child, I said, what would you like to do? What goal for yourself? And what goal for your whole family? What would you like to do this summer? And they go, well, I don't know. I have never really thought about it. And I was saying, well, what would you see? She said, well, maybe I'd like to move out of this apartment. I'd like to have my home, or maybe I want to work, or I want to take a computer class. I just kind of challenge them to think, if you could do anything you wanted to do, what is it? Because we're here now to help you and support you and give you the resources to make that happen. And when they see their kids moving and learning and changing, they want to too. So it's usually, not a problem to get them to accept us into the family.
Once they accept you, what is some of the advice you give them? I mean, how can a parent go about establishing structure and routine in their homes, from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed? I mean, just something simple.
I think the most simple thing is meal times. It's always important sometimes, maybe if you come from a family where maybe you're not used to having breakfast. I can remember my child, he brought the cornflakes and the milk and everything into the bedroom. And so as they're exposed to Head Start, they have breakfast, they have snacks.
At the table.
Yes, and it is in a family style, so that's right. So they come to expect those things. So that's just a little thing, but they'll say, Mom, I want breakfast, let's, have breakfast. And it might not be a big course, but it would be cornflakes, milk, whatever. But that's kind of a little ways that it starts to change, because maybe before they weren't taking naps, and now they do, but at first that's what the other kids are doing. They do that. So when they go home, they will say, Mom, I want to take a nap, or, let's, some quiet time. So that's something that they learn, and they have a routine after they eat. They brush their teeth. Some of them have like fluoride if they're not taking it at home. And it's really cute because they all have their little toothbrushes with their names on it. And so they learn things and they take that home. And so it's really surprising. You might think people are really unstructured, but when it comes to their children, they kind of find some motivation to get some things done. They like their kids to have clothes and to be clean, and they don't want other people to think that they don't care about their kids. I mean, I think you can find through the worst families, scenarios. Maybe they might be involved in gangs or whatever. They're proud of their kids. You got to see how they dress them. We take pride in different places, so we just need to find out where that place is. And I think the children is one of the best places to start that.
Well, let's say, I'm glad you brought up gangs and petty criminal behavior. Let's say you're from a family where there's a lot of negativity. Drugs, mama drunk every night, daddy involved in domestic violence, whooping up on mom. I mean, let's get for real. What advice could you give a family in a very negative situation and try to get control of their family, get control of their lives, so they can establish a healthy structure and routine for that child?
Well, you have to kind of start where that person is. Like I say, find what might motivate them to change, because we can't change them. They need to want that for themselves. So like I say, a lot of times having the child and wanting the best for them might clue them off. Maybe not to work, but maybe to get some help with their problems, with drinking, and I guess sometimes in our culture, it seems like programs, what's that? I don't want those people in my life, but nobody knows what that motivational little tickler is in the back of your mind. But sometimes if you're a teen mom and you dropped out of school, maybe now you might say, well, I would like to get involved in something because I'd like to see something better for myself, or I'm in a relationship and I know this man is, beating me, but I thought this is what I need to do. I ran away from home and I got married, and so, but all I can say is I sit down and talk to him and say, it's not appropriate for you to be abused. You don't really deserve that. You are somebody, your children are somebody. And most certainly if you want to, you can get help. And sometimes getting help is not, that's not really the answer right away. They're not willing to do that. But I ask them if they'll just try to write it down. Write all the bad things down, write all the good things down, and then put them in control some kind of way. And like I say, making a little goal, sometimes if they can see they're achieved, that makes all the difference. And if they can do little things, they can do really big things. So that's the only clue. I mean, if we knew if it was like an aspirin, we just take it and they do it. You never know what is going to make a person want to change. And who's to say their way is wrong and our way is right? But we just have to think of what is the best. And somehow they can see that in children, where they can't see it through other forms. And they might see if they have a lot of friends drinking or inappropriate music or whatever, they, like when I come into the home, sometimes I hear the rap or something like that on, and I won't say anything, but they'll take it off. And because they don't want you to think that that's what their kids are hearing, But when they usually talk to me, it's what they want the best for them. Like they want them to read, or they want them to count, or they don't want them to be hurt, or they don't want them to fight. No matter how you're involved in gangs or drugs or alcohol or abuse, even the abusive people, they're people too. And so it's a lot of reasons, maybe some other dysfunctions that happen in their life. So therefore, that's why they might want to change it, because their mom and dad might have drank and fought and whatever, but they say, this is my chance, the ball stops here. And so I can really change, my life now. So like I say, we really don't know the exact answer, but usually we can find the motivation through the children that makes the difference. And you can just see sometimes the children are so afraid when they first come to school. They don't know what to expect, and they kind of want mom or home because that's all they know. But once they get in with other children and they're challenged in so many ways at Head Start with science, they have a dial corner, housekeeping. Every holiday there's something really great going on at the center. They have wonderful songs, and they take this back home. They see a structure at school, and they kind of bring it with them. They bring homework home that suggests the Amani homework about good things and bad things, if smoking or drinking or, or pills. And they'll tell their mom, Mama, why you smoke those cigarettes, or why are you drinking, and these pills, this is poison, Mom. What is this? Mr. Yuck? So they are our best people. When you give to them, they take it right back and give it to their families. And sometimes we have brothers and sisters in the program, and they help one another a lot. And so that's all I can really think of that's really been a real positive in working with the families.
got home, he found that every single one of the men was gone. Elephant fears. But Nazi was very happy. He couldn't wait to play this trick again. And he played it on the rhinoceros, he played it on the hippopotamus, he played it on the giraffe and zebra, and he played it on every single animal in the forest. But all this time, watching from behind the leaves was a little bush deer. Little bush deer is very small and shy and very hard to see. He watched a Nazi play this wicked trick again and again on all the animals. Little bush deer decided it was time for a Nazi to learn a lesson. So little bush deer went deep into the forest to where the coconuts grew, and she climbed the coconut tree and threw down a great many coconuts. So she carried the coconuts home in a basket and set them on her porch. Then she went down beside with them. Nazi loved coconuts.
Rather than hire someone like I would think a PE instructor, but they employ a dancer. Here we have Cassandra. Cassandra, tell us your name, where you're from, and exactly what you do for Albina Head Start.
All right, make the move too.
My name
Slowly.
is Cassandra Gruner,
Go.
and I am here under Oregon Ballet Theater's funding and with an arrangement with Albina Head Start to come and offer the kids creative movement. And how that differs from just straight movement education is that it also gets the children to think emotionally while they're moving, to have storyline and
give me a shot of the story.
Thinking while they're moving. So it's not just touching their toes and stretching to the
Ready
side,
to zoom out.
but it's also reaching to their toes as if they were, spaghetti breaking, or trying to do things in a more creative
Dissolve
way.
the one. Slowly zoom out.
When I come, I like to meet. I meet with the children. I like to find out what their day is like a little bit on a general basis.
Ready, two, and dissolve the two.
Always stretch, because stretching is so important.
Hold that shot, one.
And we always do some form of skill, movement skill, walking, running, leaping, skipping,
Ready,
those kinds
one.
of things, which are generally found in an athletic venue, but dancers know those by other names, but I use those terms that the kids really understand.
Lanita's spot is ready.
We talk about skipping and counting.
Two,
do
get
story
Lanita home.
dances, things that are
Ready, one, take one.
creative.
Follow
I make up
them,
stories
walk with them if you can. Great one.
and
Walk with that
I
kid,
ask
yeah,
them
walk
to
with
do
that
it.
kid.
So I'm not telling them
Great.
you have to put your
Great.
leg here and your arm
Great.
here and move your body this way. I'm saying expand, or shrink.
Keep
and
walking with
shrink,
them as far as you
something
can.
that causes them to move in their
That's
own
great.
way.
Ready, two,
A wonderfully fun time for me, and I think that
and
the kids all look forward to it quite
ready
a bit.
to dissolve.
Coming together.
Two.
So I really enjoy working with
Lanita's
them
spot is
on a
ready,
weekly basis. I see every child every other week, so I am able to come. They look forward to it. They have. I give names to all the things we do.
Two-shot, two.
And they're especially fond of the storm dance, or the spider and the fly, or the troll dance, or whatever.
Yes.
And I give it
That's
to
what we
them.
need.
They ask for it again and again. Please, can we do
Truck
that?
truck over there,
Even when
Chase.
I try to create my lesson.
Hold it right there, one. Stay to your right. Stay to your right, one. Get a shot of Lanita.
So I see these children in the summer, in the springtime in my basket.
Don't walk in front of the cameras.
No one should walk in front of the camera. Great.
Stand by, people.
Okay, there we go. Ready to go to the next page? Okay. It says, the other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him rainbow fish. Come on, rainbow fish, they were called. Then he decided to share it. He's giving them one. He's giving them one of his shiny scales. He's sharing right now. Okay? See? See he's sharing? The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing. So it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right. The more he gave away, the more delighted he became. With the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish.
Well, it's too
There's lots of fish. They're all coming and asking for him to share. He was very happy. Yes. Come on, rainbow fish, they called. Come and play with us. Here I come, said the rainbow fish, and happy as a splash, he swam off to join in. So now what does that mean?
Sharing.
It means the end. What else? Does it mean
Sharing.
Sharing? And what does sharing do?
Be nice.
Be nice. Makes you happy. Right?
Share with your friends.
Share with your friends.
Let me read another book.
And we'll read another book.
Hey, who is that?
And later, okay? Not today.
Can we see your handcuffs?
Can you see the handcuffs? Well, they're not toys, so I usually don't show them to people. Okay? All right? All right, now let's see if...
Just a minute, he'll get to you. Sit down. I don't hear those magic words. What are you saying?
Would you like one? Would you like one?
What are you saying?
Did you get one?
Yes.
Can you put it on? Yes? You know how to put it on? No? You have to take the... You know how to do it? Here, let me show you.
I know how to do it.
You know, guys, what's the name of this? Who knows the name of the center that they go to? What's the name of this Head Start center?
Charles Moose Center.
Charles Moose Center, that's right. Do you know who Charles Moose is?
This.
Who is Charles Moose? Oh, I'm not Charles Moose. That's right.
You know where to go?
You guys are listening to me? That is Charles Moose. That's Chief Charles Moose.
And you're police.
Yes, he is.
All right?
I lost my
Okay.
I got
Here.
video.
Yes, I have one too. See?
Wow.
See, I have one. Oh, okay.
Are you a police?
Yes, I'm a police.
What is these? Oh, you
Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Moose, how would a parent go about teaching their child responsibility?
Well, I think it's just most important that parents spend time talking to their kids, and then also recognizing that it may expedite things if you do everything for your child, but you have to let your child do some of the things that they are capable of doing. That way they learn to start a project and to complete a project. I recognize that sometimes that adds another 5 minutes to something that you'd like to do, and it's much easier to do it yourself. But we've got to slow down sometimes, talk to our children, and then allow them to do some of the things that they can accomplish, and then explain to them that that is their responsibility and reward them for accomplishing what it is they've tried to do. So it's a matter of building a little more time into some of our projects.
What's the correlation between responsibility and having a moral code of conduct, and how would you connect those two items together?
Well, I think when we teach responsibility and then allow our children to be responsible, they learn that value, that value of self-worth that is so very important when our young people are confronted with many of the things that they have to make decisions about later in their life. So many decisions about drugs, so many decisions about gangs, so many decisions about peer pressure are based on self-esteem. So if we don't build that self-esteem at a very young age, then we find our young people following other people that are not the best role models. But that becomes very easy because they have no self-esteem they have no self-worth. So by teaching that responsibility, you learn self-worth and you take pride in who you are and what you're able to do. And that way they can make better decisions later in life.
Well, how do you go about establishing and raising the self-esteem of children?
Again, you spend time and you listen to them, and two, you allow them to do some of the things that they're capable of doing. I firmly believe that sometimes as parents, it just becomes too easy to do things yourself, that you just get it accomplished that much quicker, as opposed to taking on the role of a teacher and saying, I'm going to help you with this, but you're going to have to do it. And we're going to take as much time as necessary for you to do it because I know you're capable. And when that is completed, then praising the individual for what they've accomplished. Again, time is the critical piece, because it's much easier as an adult to do things yourself, to do things around the house that your child can do, to pick up your child's clothes and do different things that they can accomplish. Whereas if you teach and you take the time to allow them to do it and then praise them, you teach that sense of responsibility, which leads to their self-esteem.
Okay, well, here we are at Charles Moose Center, and you're Charles Moose. Tell us about Head Start and how do you feel the contribution Head Start is making nationwide and here in Portland, Oregon?
Well, traditionally, there are a number of people in our community that don't have a chance to get a good early education. So they don't get a chance to have adults that care about them. They go through that very process of building their self-esteem. And then Head Start also builds that sense of learning to work in a group. So many of our young people don't know that skill, and they don't learn the kind of conflict resolution things that are taught at Head Start. So consequently, when they disagree with their peers, they don't have a system or a process to work through. Head Start teaches that sense of togetherness, that sense of let's have a process to resolve our conflict. Let's learn to raise our hand when we want to talk. Those very basic foundations for getting along and respecting other people, very critical to the very stressful society that we live in today.
A lot of these young people will be 10, 11 years old in the year 2000. What advice could you give parents to prepare their child now for the year 2000?
Well, I think, again, you're talking about a set of very basic values: self-esteem, work hard, you are your individual self, you are very unique, so think for yourself, make decisions that are right for you, don't follow others, because it becomes very easy sometimes to not think, to not make your own decisions. And I think in the world that we're talking about, the 21st century, that it's become very, very important that you be an independent thinker, that you be proud of who you are, and that you respect the diversity and the uniqueness that you bring to our larger communities.
That's it. Thank you, Chief. Can we get you in the middle of the kids?
You gotta stand up so you'll be taller. Stand up. All right, can you guys get closer now? All right, what are we gonna do? Gonna play. How do you do that now?
Everybody dance,
Cool. All right, thank you. All right.
What is this?
Oh, now don't break it. Up. Off it comes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
That's a good.
I
want another one of these.
You want another one of those?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with another one?
Because we want two.
You want two?
Yeah. Give us two. What's this?
That's a microphone. Well, if you're talking to it, then they can hear you.
Hello. That's a little microphone.
Yeah, it is. Ask them a question. You want some more? Okay.
Do you go to work?
I go to work.
Yeah.
Yep, every day.
Go see this. Go see this.
Police officer. I don't know to have enough for everybody to have two.
You got two for Joyce? Yeah, we don't have enough. Over at Joyce, when you gonna do it? Well, I want to do health and hygiene here since we're here, and we're gonna do gym. We can do it in different places. We just need more footage. Oh, okay. When you go to.
Okay, I want to give one to all your teachers, okay?
We need to have them do the. Well, we really need to sign something. Okay. Remember I said she said. In your picture, Happy Star. Happy Star is an astronaut. Smile, Happy Star. Yeah, baby.
Look at that big smile. Okay. We got it.
Okay, now count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's it.
Thank you, Happy Star. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, yeah.
3, 4,
Let's just look at the camera. Look at the camera.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at the camera. 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 Look at the smile. 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 Yeah, beautiful, Alexis. Thank you, Alexis. Have the feelings work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, smile, Shalimar. Good. Look at the camera, 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 look at the camera.
Okay, look, he got it. You know that?
Right.
He's a good guy.
Thank you, Shalimar.
Yeah, we could take these home.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at the camera. 9, 10. Smile, Tiffany. Can I have a smile? Come on, smile. Tiffany, there's a pretty smile. Cheese. Cheese. Something tickling you. Little kisses.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did she do a great job, boys and girls? Thank you. May I have the jacket? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Look this way, son.
7, 8,
Look at the camera, son.
10. Look at the camera, look at the camera, look at the lens, look at the camera lens. Very good. Look at the camera lens. Very good. 2, 3.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got it?
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Tyler?
9, 10. Tyler, look at the camera, son. I know you're on that camera, don't you? Remember your neck. Smile, Tyler. There you go. Smile, son. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Look at the camera. Look at the
7,
camera.
8, 9, 10. Very good, Krista. Thank you very much. Sorry, Ashley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Stay right there.
Smile, Ashley. Ashley, smile.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Beautiful.
You scoop.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Officer. Yes, sir, officer. May I see some ID, please? Would you step out your car? You let him be whatever you want. What do you want to be? What's his name?
Stop pushing me too.
Go where is somebody is a boy.
There's a boy.
3 minutes.
Oh, good. I can handle
Barbara, how do you go about instructing parents to establish hygiene habits with their children?
it. Just a minute. Alexis, I need you to sit over there. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Miss Barbara. How do you go about establishing hygiene habits to parents? How do you tell a parent if you feel their child doesn't have good hygiene habits? What do you do? How do you instruct that parent?
Well, first of all, we have to be sensitive to the issue.
and how we address it. One of the things that we exercise in our classroom is teaching children how to be clean, healthy, and eating nutritional foods. So as a component, we teach us those things on a weekly basis, and on a daily basis in routine, we have the children practice and line up and follow through consistency on washing their hands, why it's important to wash your hands, why it's important for our bodies to be clean, and what can happen if we don't take very good care of ourselves, and how important it is to eat healthy, good foods. And as a whole, we have parents that come in through our CTA program, which get a hands-on experience on some of the things that we do on a daily basis. As well, through our parent involvement, we have evening courses that our family team specialist and our family team parent coordinator teaches the parent on how to be healthy, how to stay clean, how we can enhance and be healthy together. One of the things that we also do as a whole is that when a parent has a health need, we refer them to our health coordinator. And
start with the health and hygiene routine that you have here.
Okay. Basically, what we do in our classroom on a weekly basis, we discuss how to be clean, healthy, and we practice in a routine taking the children to the area to wash their hands. And during nap time, which you haven't had the opportunity to see, we supervise the kids in the restroom to brush their teeth, and now they're using toothpaste. We teach them to wash their hands after using the toilet, and we talk about how important it is to wash your hands after bathroom time. And after that, the kids can tell you pretty much it's time for us to take our fluoride. Oftentimes, when we have a child that's sick in the classroom, what basically happens is we notify the parent of a concern, and if it's a delicate situation where there's a body odor or something, we refer it to our health coordinator. She makes the initiative to contact the parent and talk about the means of how we can help. And if it's a situation where the child needs to be removed from the classroom to take to the doctor, we make sure the child is comfortable and not so much as isolated or being picked on as saying that, oh, you have a problem here. And what we find that parents are doing is they're feeling real good about it, the notification, and they do follow through on making sure that child is seen by a physician and brought back to our center. One of the things that enhance our teaching of body cleanliness is teaching it to the children, and children take things home and talk to the parents about it too, so we're getting a reinforcement in that area as well. I find that our kids are not shy to say that there's something on my face or I need to wash my hands. We're finding that our kids are consistent in saying, my hands are dirty, teacher, I need to wash my hands, or I need to clean my body. And what we try to do is have the children talk about it, their feelings. And if something that is not okay with them about themselves, and it could be personal, they'll come and share it with us. And then we have a way of talking to the parents and being sensitive to their needs too. And if it's a situation where they can't afford it, our health coordinator takes care of those issues. So our main focus is building self-esteem and have this environment a safe and warm and comfortable environment for them as well. So we really shoot for that goal and make sure the kids are happy and feeling good about themselves as well.
That's all?
Yeah, if we can get some shot. Yes, sir, that's all.
That's all there is to it?
Yeah, we just, man, we get some shots.
Shalimar, if you smiling, he not gonna take a picture of you. Ashley, not gonna take a picture of you.
Is she with your shoes on?
Yeah, in case if it's a fire and it's snow or rain and out there, we don't want to get them sicker than you know. Yeah. Even though a lot of them at first was saying, well, you don't want your shoes on at home, so you know.
Yeah, for safety.
For safety reasons, yeah. This is bad enough they know not to stop and pick up anything, so you're not gonna have a coat on until at least put your shoes on.
just wondering what impact the Northwest is going to have in reference to that earthquake in Japan.
What do you mean?
Well, so when I heard that earthquake, and they said that the little town that it happened in is the same size as Portland, and the impact, 1,600 people already KILLED. Services electricity down for, in case they need the electrical services later. They had no idea if they were having aftershocks yet. That's what's really sad. And they didn't have any equipment or tools to take the people out. They're using their hands. Whose parents was here, sister? So they're real.
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Okay. You ready? Shh. Mental health. What is mental health for the child?
Mental health for children, particularly young children, is, I believe, something that parents really need to be aware of because it manifests itself in a lot of ways with young children. Some of the symptoms of depression in children show up with lack of appetite, disinterest in things that they normally have a strong interest in participating in, or participation with other family members or children in a setting at school or other places. And when parents see these kinds of symptoms, one of the things that they should start to do is talk with their children, if they're of age, where they can start to communicate with them about their feelings and what's going on with them. Some of the symptoms, again, that I think parents should be aware of and take note of are lack of appetite, withdrawing from situations that they're normally comfortable in, lack of communication if they communicate with their family or other family members on a regular basis. I'm lost.
When we talk about mental health, we never think of how it affects the physical. Is there a correlation between the mental health of a child and the physical health of that child?
I think that the mental health and the physical health of children directly correlate. When children withdraw and refuse to participate or show lack of participation in situations with other children or at school, likewise, their hygiene also can suffer in the same kind of way because they're depressed or because there's issues that they have unresolved, as well as issues that they may not be able to resolve for themselves and may need help from their parents in terms of discussion, play, for them to act that out in other situations as well. And some of the ways that we see the health factor becoming a part of their continued downward spiral would be not paying attention to some of the things that we take for granted, brushing their teeth, washing their face, taking a bath. And those, again, may become issues that may be difficult for the parents to get them to do on a regular basis, and can lead to health issues as well. Extreme depression, when a child just totally withdraws, can lead to, sometimes in some children, hospitalization, because those issues need to be resolved in a meaningful way, and have, in some cases that we've seen, led to severe health issues for children and families.
Let's say a child is in an environment where they have no control, the real-life situation, abusive boyfriend, a single mom that's not working, a lot of negative things, external things, the child has no control, negative people coming over. What's the impact on a child's mental health from their environment? You know, you hear a lot about environment, and I think parents can take control of their child's environment. Negative friends. Your brother may be a drug dealer. You have another sister in a gang. Grandfather in and out of prison, and all that negativity. What kind of effect does that have on a child's mental health?
Parents have to be ever vigilant in terms of friends that their children associate with, the role model that they set for their children, and the friends that they expose their children to, particularly single parents, either mothers or fathers, who have custody of their children, need to be I'm at loss for a word. You can fix this, right?
Yes, sir. Just say single parents need to be vigilant.
Single parents need to be vigilant in terms of watching who their children associate with, as well as setting role models in terms of selection of friends. They do that by the company that they keep in the presence of their children as well. And an example of that might be a boyfriend who is in and out of the home on a regular basis, who shows no interest in the children, has no idea of what a meaningful relationship between a mother and a father might be, an expression of love and concern and sensitivity. Those are all keys to exposing children to situations, and for them to develop and have an understanding about meaningful relationships and how to select meaningful friendships.
What about if a parent is not involved in anything? The involvement of the parent. Let's say all you do at home is sit around and watch talk shows. You go from Donahue to Montel to, you know, this one to that one. Ricky Lake to the little, what's the white girl's name? Jenny Jones. Thank you. Know what you've been doing.
She knows them all.
No, Jenny Jones. I never thought of that.
Again, I think when we talk about setting an example and a role model for our children, instilling a work ethic, they watch us as adults and emulate us in many ways. And if we as parents don't expose our children to the work ethic, that we're not sitting at home all day and we're not watching television, that there are things that we have to do. We can take them shopping with us. When we have jobs, we can take our children to those jobs. I think it's also important as grandparents that we take our children to our workplaces and that they see us in a variety of settings, in a variety of situations, how we interact with people, and learn those skills or see those skills so that they will develop those skills as they grow into adolescence. To answer your question more directly, I think it's important, particularly for us as African Americans, to expose our children to the different role models. I know we have different programs in the community where we have professionals come in and talk to our children and give them ideas and expose them to different work settings. And but again, back to the parents, it's critical that they see their parents in given situations where they are interacting with others, that time is valuable and that each moment is useful in terms of being productive in our lives and sharing those times with others.
Well, how can you do that, sir, when you've never had a role model? All you've seen as a mother sit at home on welfare, or that generation, which was allowed at that time, sit around on welfare. Your daddy never came around. How can you establish role models when you've never had one?
I believe it's critical for us to break any kind of role models that we've been exposed to, negative kinds of role models. It's critical that well, let me go back. I think we all have some skills. We all have some interest. And I think we as parents and we as individuals need to develop those and take an interest outside of our home and develop our own strengths and move away from our weaknesses that we've developed over a period of years. it's important that as we do that, that our children be a part of that as well, that they see us moving away from a negative model where we've been sitting around, that we move and expose our children to situations where there are positive role models. And if families, your own immediate family is not a positive situation, you see that that's not going to change, that you move away from that. You can use your family for support when you need to do that. But in the same light, you need to develop as a parent your own relationships and your own models of relationships that will be of benefit to you and to your children. I'm starting to think of a word, but I can't think of it.
That was perfect. One last question. Preparing your child for the 21st century. Brand new show. What would you do? What would you recommend to parents of 3 to 5-year-olds and still in the mental health thing to prepare their child for the future, especially the 21st century? It'll be pre-adolescence thing. And even if you're redundant, Mr. Edmondson, don't worry about it because it's a totally different show.
Okay. You know, I believe that it's critical as we move into the 21st century for our children to be exposed to as many role models as possible. And I think it's incumbent upon us to be, again, ever vigilant in exposing our children to people in work situation. We need to expose our children not only to life skills, but political situations, to see us challenge the system as we move forward in our day-to-day lives, that we have options and that we have choices in life, not just political, but individually, and that there's good reasoning and good thought process about how we make decisions as we move forward, and to develop those skills. I think we need to be inclusive of not just our own families, but people outside of our families, particularly for us as people of color, to expose our children to as many different people in professional settings, and not just professional settings, laborers, and so on, that they can develop and grow and determine their goals and their directions for the future.
Well,
I hope that worked. Right. Gonna get it? Try one more time, Alvin. I bet you can do it. Come on.
Hey, you're touching this, and then now we're going to that. The movie.
Oh, you changed to a different program, huh? Okay. What's this guy's name? Well, I bet you can do it again now. Come on. Loud. Yeah.
You got a beard.
You got a beard, that's right.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pick that third back in their mouth. Why you gonna go? A monkey's in there.
Where's the monkey?
In there.
Oh, in the spacesuit? Well, you guys know this program pretty well, don't you?
He told you.
Yeah, sure is a monkey. It was the end.
Julie, good shot.
Let's see.
Lights, camera, action.
Another movie? No, it says the end. Same movie. Can you change the movie, Melvin?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Said the end again.
6.
Press the other one, Melvin.
Camera,
There you go.
action.
Hit that one.
Lights, camera, action.
Yay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Action.
Can you change out what that is?
Go there. Go here. Do you want to do food then? I'll go here. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Oh, it's looking in the garbage can.
Yep, throw the garbage can.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
And whose picture is that?
2. The awkward.
Which ones have horns?
The playhouse?
I only, yeah, that one. Which one?
Here.
Right. And what else? I see two more with horns. Oh, I don't think those are horns. That's right.
He has horns.
Oh, he has horns. That's one. Okay. There you go. You're doing pretty good.
Oh, right, mountain goat.
Man,
What?
if you put the legs, all of them come out. That man.
There you go.
Way to go. Ankylosaurus.
Missed.
Ankylosaurus.
There you go.
Mountain goat. Oh, right, Brachiosaurus.
Right.
Pull the lever to see your picture.
Pull the lever.
Animals with horns.
You got animals.
Does he? Oh, they're all coming out.
Mule deer. Mountain goat.
Yep.
Bighorn sheep. Triceratops.
Triceratops. Okay. Brachiosaurus.
Ankylosaurus. Tyrannosaurus. Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay, Mr. Brown, tell us, what do you do on a daily basis to help Tyler look clean and smell good?
Well, he's pretty cleanly anyway. He likes to take a bath, and he likes to brush his teeth. He's always looking for his toothbrush and everything, and he likes to smell good. He likes to get in my cologne and whatnot, so I let him play in it, you know. After he washes up and brushes his teeth, he goes and pick out a cologne he wants to use, huh?
You know, Mr. Brown, a lot of men may not feel, because of sexism in this society, may not feel that a man should be involved in the day-to-day routine things with their children, such as cleaning, making sure they wash their clothes, they have clean socks, they take a bath. You obviously are involved in Tyler's day-to-day cleaning. How would you respond to a brother that says, man, that's woman's work?
Well, I guess being the oldest son in my household coming up, my mother taught me how to wash my clothes and how to cook for myself and do things for myself because I could be self-efficient. So I pass it on.
Are you teaching Tyler all those things?
Yes, I do.
Tell me, how has Head Start helped you as a parent?
I guess it's put me more aware of his special needs. You know, they're around him more and they can see exactly what he needs, his needs and stuff as far as his education and everything else, and his personality.
Are you okay, Tyler? Can you smile for us? Yes. You kind of wondering what's going on?
Yeah.
What advice could you give other parents, Mr. Brown, about raising their children?
Well, I think in a lot of society around here, we tend to let kids raise themselves, and they need to get right in there and raise their children instead of the other way around, and stop trying to worry about them as they get a little older and do it, you know, the whole time. That way you can always, you know, kind of pick out what's going on with them and their special needs. Every kid's an individual.
That's perfect. Yeah. Was that worth the wait?
I guess so.
It will be in Philadelphia when Tyler, look around at your daddy. Wait till Mr. Killingsworth say action.
Okay.
Action.
Just careful.